In today's lives, globalization has allowed people from all regions in the world to live, study, and work in the same place and cooperate with each other on a daily basis. The International School at Park City, Hanoi is such a global educational institution that promotes that international interaction. At this school, not only teachers and staffs, but also students and parents are from all over the world, living and working in Vietnam, which makes ISPH an international environment where diverse cultures are blended and exchanged in the heart of Hanoi.
Welcome the audience to Station Vietnam, Chat Vietnam on VTC10, and I'm your host, Vu Thao. In today's talk show, we are going to explore an international studying and working environment where students, teachers, and staffs have the opportunity to work with people from different countries, promoting the globalization and international exchange among people through a conversation with Mr. Stuart Hill from the UK. He is now the principal of the International School at Park City, Hanoi. Thank you so much for joining our show today. So we can see that students at ISPH are from different countries. So what are the activities that we have to promote the cultural exchange among them?
So Vietnamese culture specifically, we celebrate all of the national festivals as a school. So for example, at the start of the year we celebrated Moon Festival, we celebrate Tet as a very large event as well. We celebrate International Women's Day, we celebrate Vietnamese Teachers Day. So those types of holidays, if you will, national holidays, we celebrate alongside Vietnam. We also obviously pay attention to all the detailed celebrations that go on, so whether it's Reunification Day and things along those lines, we've obviously deliver as well. And then we have the Vietnamese culture, so we, as per the rules and as per is right, our students always have Vietnamese studies as a lesson. So they're all, whether they're native or non-native, so Vietnamese or expat students, they all have those lessons where they learn about Vietnamese culture and Vietnamese studies as well.
What are the challenges or difficulties in teaching students from different countries and speak different languages?
Well, straight away, number one is speaking different languages. So native language is obviously incredibly important, and students join us with different ranges and abilities of English language speaking ability. And so we have to work really hard to develop and hone those skills for the students who are lower down and help them get up to speed. But all of our students, after being with us for a period of time, outperform international averages. That's really positive for us as a school. We know what we're doing works. We're what we call data informed. We baseline everybody, and we make sure that as we're teaching and we're working with students, we can see progress and we're able to reflect that to parents, so they know that what their want and desires for their child are. They're seeing that progress and getting that from us here at ISPH. So that's the first one. There are cultural differences, so the way, the expectation maybe of a Korean family who might be new into the international education system because they've recently become expats and moved to Vietnam, first time maybe out of Korea, and they've experienced only Korean education, and then all of a sudden they're into an international. There's a difference, and so for us it's about making sure that parents understand what that difference is, and they're appreciative of those differences rather than arriving and thinking this isn't what we expected it to be.
So how does school help students to overcome language barriers and also cultural barriers?
We have lots of systems that make sure that people understand each other and supportive of each other and others' cultures. So we learn about other people's cultures, we celebrate other cultures' days and important milestones and events. We are very clear on understanding another culture and what that might be. And then things that we do in school are there to break down those barriers, so whether it's having house events or whether it's having International Day. So International Day would be a really good example of actually highlighting everybody's cultures and celebrating everybody's cultures, including cultures that we don't have in the school, and celebrating nations where we maybe don't have, students might not have an understanding of those nations, those cultures, religions, because they're not exposed to them. So we highlight them and celebrate them, so that if a student ever is to meet somebody from Oman, they might already have a background and an understanding because of something that took place on International Day.
At the International School at Park City, Hanoi, the diversity of nationalities among its teachers and staff creates a dynamic and enriching environment. Each member brings unique working styles shaped by their cultural backgrounds, fostering creativity, innovation, and cultural exchange. In this international setting, Vietnamese staff play a vital role as cultural bridges, helping connect individuals from different backgrounds while ensuring the school maintains strong ties to the local values and practices.
After 3 years working with employees from different countries at ISBH, do you think that employees' working styles is shaped by their home country's culture?
They definitely do, absolutely. But I think it's more down to personality. So you can 100% identify that maybe certain working practices in different countries work in different ways, but if you have the right people with the right personality and the right mentality, I don't think it matters where you're from. I think it's about finding those gems of people who will give and support, and in an environment like this, it sounds strong, it's active service. We are working in service to other people, and that's the most important thing. But there are definite working styles from different countries, and in some situations that can cause challenges, and in some schools, international schools around the world, it will cause challenges for sure.
So how is working style of Vietnamese staff and teachers in particular different from people from other countries?
I find our Vietnamese staff really hardworking. You know, they're really passionate, they're really caring, and they do it with a smile on their face, and it's not, and I'm sure that this isn't the same to be said for everybody the world over, but they're passionate, they care, they work hard, they smile, they give, and you talk about that in service again, they kind of almost understand this term for our staff here, that it's about service, it's about supporting and caring, and they care enough that they want to help. That's a really clear difference for me personally. The people we work with want to help, and so for me, I would just identify that as the Vietnamese staff I've come across, and in fact the Vietnamese people outside of this as well. Generally, I always feel they want to help, they want to support, they want to get things, they want to make things good, and the staff here are no different. I feel that that's a massive plus for us as a school. Is the staff that we're fortunate to recruit. They're good and they want to do well.
So, in your opinion, how important is the Vietnamese staff's role in ISBH?
The crucial role of our Vietnamese staff is essentially supporting the academic staff. We do have some academic Vietnamese staff, so the sort of first contact, so student-facing, if you will, staff. We have some Vietnamese staff, we saw some earlier, as we walked around the school, and they teach Vietnamese studies, Vietnamese lessons. Our EAL is predominantly supported by Vietnamese speakers, Vietnamese local staff. But then the extra role is the administrative role of facilities, the catering, the cleaning, the gardeners, the security. And every one of those members of staff has to buy into the same ethos and the same most important element of we're all here to provide and help these students develop. So whether it's security, meeting people at the gate and being polite, but also stopping and making sure our campus is safe, whether it's our gardeners, our cleaners, making sure everything, the site's immaculate, and they work so hard. Our marketing and admissions team, school shop, finance, nurse, there's so many elements to a school that go unseen, and that's largely all done by Vietnamese staff, and if we didn't have them, we wouldn't be able to function. And I'm very fortunate to work with the most amazing Vietnamese colleagues who care, they're passionate, they work incredibly hard, and they give a lot to the school so that it can be successful.
Could you please share more about your future orientation and plans to manage human resources and to promote the cultural exchange between Vietnam and other countries at ISBH?
Really interesting. We have, when we have new staff coming into schools, so maybe they've visited Vietnam like myself before, maybe they haven't. The first thing we do is we have a period of time where staff join, which is very much focused around culture and understanding where you are, understanding Vietnam, understanding Hanoi, understanding Hadong, understanding everything, right the way from where's the nearest shopping malls to how do you get around, to making sure people have got the right apps installed on their phone. And that starts months before people even arrive in Hanoi. So when we are recruiting, when we've recruited staff, we add them to a new staff website, so they've got freedom of information and questions. Then they have buddies, so before joining the school they're connected with someone who can answer any questions they have. Then we also have a company called, we connect up with a company called My Viet Friends, so if they've got little questions and they need the help of somebody who's Vietnamese, they can ring and they get support straight away. Might be just telling your Grab driver where to leave the delivery or whatever it might be. So all these little details that I think we're really strong at. And then when people arrive, we do things like we take them on a team building day. We go into Hanoi, we take them to see the puppet show, the water puppet show. We take them to see Hoan Kiem and into the old quarter. We take them out for meals where there's Vietnamese food and they're exposed to that. We teach them. When I first arrived, we had a session where our classroom assistants, who are all Vietnamese, they put on a sort of mini culture session where you have to go around the room and learn different words and make sure you've got certain apps installed. So it's about connecting our expats coming in with their now local community. But that doesn't stop there. So we have lots of events where we persistently combine everybody. It's not a them and us. It's not an expats and locals. We all work together. We all play together. We make sure that when staff have functions, everybody's there. We all work alongside each other. We all celebrate alongside each other. And we have team building days, which is based on the house system. All the staff are in houses. So they then go up to the old quarter and they start in a beer hoy somewhere and they go out and do their challenges and they come back to the beer hoy and they celebrate who the winning house, and that's a mixture of locals and expat staff as well. So I think we're really conscious of connecting constantly and ensuring that our expat staff are able to immerse themselves into the country and the culture, and that's once again really lucky. Again, I talk about those support staff. We're really lucky to have a great HR team who are there at the end of a phone, at the end of an email, to constantly guide and support staff who are ready to come in and make sure they're ready to be part of our community.
That is the last question of our talk show today. We really appreciate your time and valuable sharings, and hopefully ISBH will further develop in the future, creating an international and culturally diverse community for not only the Vietnamese, but also expats in Vietnam. Thank you so much again. That is the end of Station Vietnam, Chat Vietnam on VTC10 today. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you soon in the next episode.